Ever felt like your best efforts just, vanish into thin air, unnoticed?
Or maybe you extend some genuine kindness and it gets met with, well, just baffling hostility.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just wake up some days feeling like the whole world's kind of against you, but you can't quite put your finger on why.
Mm-hmm.
If any of that sounds familiar, then you're in the right place because you are definitely not alone in feeling that way.
That feeling.
Yeah.
It's this frustration, right? Like you're caught in a current. You just can't control. It's pretty universal, actually.
And it leaves you feeling drained.
Utterly drained, yeah. Or powerless, maybe overwhelmed.
Absolutely. So today, we're doing a deep dive into a really powerful framework designed to help navigate those exact feelings. It's called the Let Them Let Me method.
And this isn't just some abstract theory. It's drawn from my own personal journey, actually. Some hard-won insights I shared in an article over at Startup Literature.
Right, you're Lena, the owner of Startup Literature and the author of the piece we're digging into.
That's me. And our mission here, really, is to pull out the most potent insights from this framework.
Think of it like a shortcut.
Exactly. A shortcut to understanding how you can, seriously reduce stress, build more authentic relationships, and ultimately reclaim your own personal power.
By what, essentially?
By breaking free from that cycle of tying your happiness to what other people do or think.
Okay, let's unpack this, because we've all had those moments, haven't we? Those really frustrating experiences that just force you to rethink everything.
Oh, absolutely. For me, the seed for Let Them Let Me was planted during a genuinely painful time.
This was when you moved for your PhD.
Yeah, my wife and I moved to this small town for my doctoral degree. We felt pretty isolated, honestly, so we looked for community at a local church.
And most people were welcoming.
Most were great, yeah. But then there was this one woman, her hostility. It was immediate, undeniable.
What kind of things?
Just rolling eyes, disdainful comments, deliberately trying to isolate us. We really tried,
Yeah.
invited her to dinner, hiking, even travel.
And nothing changed.
Nothing. Her presence just became this social nightmare. It actually traumatized us for years afterward, made us hypersensitive to similar personalities.
Oh, wow. So that wasn't just a bad encounter. That was a real turning point.
It really was. I realized that just avoiding her or hoping things would magically change, that wasn't the answer. I'd spent way too many years worrying about others, neglecting myself.
So the change had to come from within.
Exactly. Confronting my response to those situations, not necessarily the situation itself.
And you connect this to Mel Robbins's The Let Them theory.
Yeah, her framing is powerfully simple.
Yeah.
But the core idea, it echoes something I explored in my own writing before, specifically in an article I wrote called 7 Habits to Transform Your Life.
Which talks about reactive versus proactive people.
Right. Reactive people spend so much valuable energy on things totally outside their control. They're basically waiting for the world to fit their expectations.
Whereas proactive people.
They strategically focus their energy on the one thing they can actually control: themselves. Their thoughts, their actions, their responses.
That's such a fundamental truth, but we often overlook it, don't we?
We really do. And this leads straight into what I call the happiness trap.
Okay, what's that?
It's where so many of us get stuck. We tie our happiness directly to other people, their actions, their opinions, even just their moods.
And when you do that,
You're basically handing over the remote control to your own life. You're letting others dictate how you feel.
you shared a really poignant example involving your own mother.
Yeah, my mom. Her whole life kind of revolved around this crippling question: what will others think?
Every decision filtered through that.
Every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Seeking approval, fearing judgment. And that had a huge, often heartbreaking impact on me, too.
How so?
Well, I found my own emotional compass was constantly tuned to her reactions. I was always asking, will this make Mom proud? Or will doing this disappoint her?
That sounds incredibly draining.
It was. And the heartbreaking thing, as I wrote in the article, was that she never met everyone's expectations. So she was never satisfied. And because of that, I was never quite good enough for her either.
So you both ended up miserable.
We both lived miserable lives, yeah. It's just a powerful example of how this trap doesn't just snare you, it affects everyone around you. It creates this cycle of perpetual disappointment.
Wow. Which brings us to the liberation part, right? The let them.
Exactly, the liberation of let them. Because the truth is, not everything that concerns you actually deserves your attention. And certainly not everyone deserves your precious energy.
So let them is about breaking those chains.
Those self-imposed shackles, yes.
Yeah.
It's not about giving up. It's a profound act of self-preservation. It means releasing control you never really had in the first place.
Like you're rowing someone else's boat.
Perfect analogy. You're furiously rowing a boat that isn't yours. Just stop. Let them row their own boat.
That's a huge mental shift from feeling trapped to taking back control.
Right. Like with the breakup example I used. You're not letting go as in abandoning care, but you're allowing things to return to their natural state, freeing yourself from that struggle.
It creates space.
Exactly. Space to focus on what truly matters to you, your life, your family, your hobbies, your dreams, whatever you value.
And that's where the second part comes in. Let me.
Precisely. Because let them isn't an excuse to just check out or avoid responsibility. Some things are beyond your control, yes, but there's always something you can influence.
So let them reclaims the energy.
And let me redirects that energy. It channels those newly liberated resources, your time, your focus, your power, toward what actually serves your peace and your purpose.
Like a 1-2 punch.
A powerful 1-2 punch that puts you firmly back in the driver's seat of your own life.
Okay, that makes perfect sense in theory. But, life throws curveballs. Daily life is chaotic. There's unfairness, workplace politics, just annoying little things. How do we actually use let them, let me in that chaos?
That's the real challenge, isn't it? Because life isn't always fair. We all deal with seeing others succeed, maybe when we feel we deserve it more, or the office suck-ups getting ahead.
Or just those daily irritations that pile up and cause so much stress.
And our bodies react automatically, right? That fight or flight response kicks in.
Yeah, you feel attacked or criticized and you want to lash out.
Or run away, or just freeze, get completely overwhelmed. It's a natural cycle, but often really unhelpful. It keeps us stuck.
You shared a really vivid story from your first job, the tutoring one.
Ah, yes, my first job as a tutor. It was at a renowned training school, supposed to be lucrative pay, but unlike the other new hires, I got 0 assignments for months.
Wow, months. So no income?
No assignments, no income.
Uh-huh.
I was nearly broke, borrowing money just for rent and food. The stress was, well, it was immense.
What was going through your head?
I lay awake at night just obsessing. How had I offended my bosses? I complained constantly to coworkers, trying desperately to prove myself, even bad-mouthing my group leader.
Did any of it help?
Of course not. The stress completely burned me out, alienated my colleagues, and absolutely nothing improved my situation.
And the kicker was?
The kicker, the truly ironic conclusion, as I called it, was that HR had simply forgotten to add my name to the assignment table. An accident.
Oh my gosh. All that suffering?
All that suffering, that whole mental spiral, was entirely from overthinking and making assumptions about things I couldn't control.
If you'd known let them back then.
I wouldn't have wasted all that energy.
Mm?
And if I'd embraced let me, I could have focused on constructive steps. Like, simply asking HR what was going on.
Such a relatable story about how assumptions create needless stress.
It really illustrates how let them is like hitting the reset button on stress,
Mm.
and let me is the lever that restores your personal power.
So you can't control your boss's promotion schedule.
Right, or if coworkers gossip or what some random person online thinks of your work, so why not just let them?
And instead,
Instead, let me focus on what I can do, develop my skills, increase my productivity, improve my communication, focus on my own game.
and if people still aren't satisfied after all that,
Then, as I said in the article, it's truly not your problem anymore.
well, okay, so that handles external stressors. But what about that internal weight? The fear of what others think. That paralyzes so many people.
It really does. We all care about external opinions to some extent, right?
Yeah.
In dating, at work, and especially with family. We worry about impressing people, or worse, disappointing them.
Sometimes to the point of paralysis.
Complete paralysis. My mother, again, was a prime example. She stuck with what was familiar just to avoid potential criticism or judgment. And it's just tragic to miss out on living because you're afraid of what someone might think.
It's a heavy burden.
It really is. And my message here, which I feel strongly about, is incredibly liberating. Why not allow people to think whatever they want? Why not permit ourselves to pursue our own desires?
Because you can't control their thoughts anyway.
You absolutely can't. It's human nature to judge, to gossip sometimes. Trying to control that is like trying to herd cats. Utterly futile and just. Exhausting.
So the actionable advice is,
Let them judge. Let me live my own life and chase my dreams. Act from desire, not obligation.
can you give an example?
Sure. Like, I buy presents for my wife, not because I feel I have to, but because I genuinely love her and want to make her happy. I work out for my own health, not to impress anyone at the gym.
Or doing extra work.
Yeah, doing extra work to hone my skills for myself, not just to impress my boss. It's about taking back that internal steering wheel. what psychologists call an internal locus of control.
Deciding your own direction.
Exactly. Instead of letting external winds just blow you around, it shifts the power center right back to you.
And this internal control is crucial when dealing with emotional manipulation, right?
Oh, absolutely critical. Because we often end up hurting ourselves just to avoid upsetting or disappointing others, especially loved ones. We hand over control without even realizing it,
And that caring can become a form of control.
easily. A controlling power that we surrender. I listed several common painful examples in the article.
Like from parents.
Yeah, things like, after everything I've sacrificed for you, or is this the gratitude I get? You know the type.
Them partners.
Partners might say things like, you should feel lucky I chose you, or sometimes I wonder why I committed to someone like you. Ouch.
And managers, too.
Managers with those thinly veiled threats. Remember, there's a line of qualified candidates eager for your position. It's all designed to control through emotion.
You describe these as tactics of emotionally immature adults.
That's what they often are. People who rely on passive-aggressive behavior, guilt trips, emotional outbursts to get their way, to control others.
And the key point
The
is,
crucial point is, it is not your job or your responsibility to manage someone else's emotions, or to sacrifice your happiness for theirs.
so if they choose anger or resentment,
Let them. Let them ride their own emotional roller coaster. You can watch from a safe, detached distance. You don't have to jump on their train, especially if it's heading off the rails.
this really hits home when you talk about your decades under your mother's control, that emotional prison, as you called it.
Yeah, it was intense. I remember confiding in my wife that I felt my mother would just drain every ounce of my energy and spirit before I even had a chance to live my own life.
But then you broke free.
I finally did. With 3 simple words, let her be.
That wasn't just acceptance, was it?
No, it was total liberation.
Oh,
I stopped being the caretaker of her emotions. I dismantled her unconscious authority over my choices. I took back the authorship of my own story.
and you developed a new mantra.
I did. It became, let me breathe the fresh air of self-determination. Let me write each chapter of my life with my own hand. Let me embrace uncertainty as the price of growth. Let me discover joy on my own terms, not as an afterthought to someone else's approval.
That's incredibly powerful. A real declaration of self-ownership.
It felt like one, yeah.
Okay, that's a profound shift. But let's be really clear here. Letting them isn't about being indifferent, right? It's not about abandoning responsibility.
No, absolutely not. Especially when loved ones genuinely need help or are, engaged in self-destructive behaviors. You don't just say let them and walk away.
So you still offer help and support.
You absolutely do. But how you help changes dramatically. You realize you can't solve their problems for them.
Because you can't really change someone unless they want to change.
Exactly. It's virtually impossible unless they desire that internal change themselves. People have to take responsibility for their own challenges, and they are capable of finding solutions.
They need support, not rescuing.
Precisely. Support and love to find their own solutions. Rescuing can sometimes backfire.
You mentioned a relative whose father always bailed him out financially.
Yeah, a stark example. His father paid for everything: rent, bills, food, car, even his wedding. So this relative never felt life's natural pressures. He never developed motivation or resilience.
And when the father passed away?
Shockingly, he couldn't even feed himself. Complained his father hadn't left him enough money. It just shows how rescuing can sometimes enable learned helplessness.
So instead of rescuing, the let me part becomes,
Let me support. Let me encourage them to solve their own problems. Stand beside them. Hold the light high. Let them learn and grow stronger through their own efforts.
and this idea of evolution, it applies to friendships too, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Friendships naturally evolve. I talked about this drawing on Mel Robbins' work, too, around the 3 pillars of friendship.
Which are proximity, timing, and energy.
Right. Proximity, you need to spend significant time together. Easier when you're young, harder as adults.
Timing.
Timing is about being in similar life chapters. You might spend time with coworkers. But if you're all in vastly different stages, deep bonds might not form as easily.
And energy is mutual effort.
Exactly. Like any relationship, it requires mutual effort, mutual feeling. And these pillars shift over time.
Like with your gaming friends.
Yeah, as I got older, started a family, the time for gaming just wasn't there anymore. The connections naturally faded. It's sad, sure, but it's often a healthy part of life's progress.
So accepting that means learning to let them drift.
Let them drift, fade, forge new connections that fit their current season. Trying to force friendships that have run their course only leads to resentment.
But what about that feeling of isolation when connections change?
That's where let me kicks back in. You take initiative.
How?
Let me actively seek out communities where I might find kindred spirits. Let me courageously extend myself to create new connections. It means accepting that meaningful relationships require vulnerability and effort from you.
And you mentioned another article for people wanting more on that.
Yeah, for a deeper dive on building connections, I referenced another piece I wrote. The Ultimate Guide to Building Meaningful Relationships. 6 essential social skills you need for success.
Okay. Now, there's one really important caveat you made, a crucial one.
Yes, absolutely vital. Do not apply let them to children.
Yeah.
You remain responsible for their physical, mental, and emotional needs. Full stop.
So this framework is specifically for adult relationships.
Exactly. Your interactions with other adults.
Got it. So this whole journey, it's not like you reach a finish line, is it?
Not at all. It's a continuous daily practice. It takes ongoing awareness, ongoing commitment. I'll be honest, I still catch myself slipping into old patterns sometimes.
Especially in difficult situations.
Yeah, with strong personalities or really emotionally charged situations, it happens.
But the difference now is,
The difference is I recognize those moments much faster. I can course correct more quickly. This framework acts like my compass. It guides me back to center whenever I start drifting towards people-pleasing or taking on others' emotions.
and the result is more authentic connections.
Far more authentic connections, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on mutual respect, not emotional entanglement or subtle manipulation. When you consciously release what you can't control, you create so much space to fully embrace what you can.
You describe the gift of this practice as a quiet confidence.
It really is. That quiet confidence has replaced so much of my old anxiety. There's this unmistakable peace that comes from knowing, look, you can't control the entire ocean of life, but you can masterfully steer your own ship,
Charting your own course.
charting your own course toward genuine fulfillment. Ultimately, it's about building a life where you are in charge of your peace, your purpose, not letting anyone else pull your strings or define your worth.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, what area of your life, listening right now, would benefit most from applying let them let me today?
Yeah, is it a difficult colleague? A demanding family member? Maybe it's an internal struggle with self-judgment.
Just consider how this framework could genuinely transform your own journey toward greater peace, more purpose, and profound personal freedom.
And we really encourage you to explore this powerful framework further. You can find my full article, plus a lot more insightful content on life, work, personal growth, all over at bullishbooks.com.
Definitely check that out. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure.
And be sure to subscribe for more insights to help you build a life of intention and clarity.